All right, YouTube. Trump has begun to purge Obama-era officials from his inner circle and outer circle alike. Under the Department of Justice, of course, a large number of Obama-era prosecutors were still acting on behalf of the federal government. He's asked for all of their resignations. However, it looks like he's made one exception for Preet Bharara, who's been going after de Blasio as part of an extremely major case. Now, Bharara is known as an excellent attorney and a total fucking headhunter after the corruption of sort of the political elite. It appears as though he has informed the deputy acting head of the Department of Justice to actually decline his resignation. Apparently, he just asked for it en masse. He told Sessions, who is acting in this manner, to get the resignation of everybody who Obama had appointed to these positions, so he can replace them with people loyal to him. And this happens, every 4 to 8 years. This itself is not abnormal, although the media, obviously is reporting on it as though it's some sort of high-level massive purge that's never happened before, and Trump is about to sue everyone and destroy, democracy forever. This actually has happened before. It's typically not all at once. Apparently just got tired of fucking dealing with these people. But apparently, according to what I'm reading, he instructed the deputy acting head of the Department of Justice to decline Bharara's specific resignation. Now, apparently they just issued them all at once, but then they're like, oh yeah, he's going after de Blasio still right now, so we don't want him to resign. So it looks like he's still going to be in a job, at least if what I'm reading is to be taken at face value. I'm not exactly sure. That's probably a good idea. De Blasio is a high-level socialist target. He is corrupt. He does need to be prosecuted. He's just a piece of crap, so you should let Preet Bharara do his job and continue investigating him. Probably within a year or so, de Blasio will be forced into a jail cell. And good riddance. Hopefully he stays there for the rest of his natural-born days. That idiot needs to be behind bars before he infects anybody else with his uncontrollable stupidity. But it's not abnormal for Trump to do this. Obama, of course, let go of people from the Bush administration. Bush let people go from the Clinton administration, and so on back for some time. What's got people up in arms is just the fact that he's doing it to 46 acting attorneys at the same time. Generally speaking, it's more of a gradual process. I guess the idea is because these people are possibly currently performing investigations or something, you let them wrap up with their significant work before you get rid of them. Trump's like, fuck, I don't even care. Maybe somebody else will have to be on these cases. Except for old Preet there, which I don't blame him for. He's the one with the most name recognition. When he got involved in the de Blasio stuff, people were like, well, oh shit, de Blasio's not going to be long for the world of the free to roam, so to speak, because they know about his reputation. He's gone after people before and completely nailed them to the wall. He seems like a funny individual, too. Probably not the person you want to face off against in court if you want to actually succeed and not end up in a jail cell or with a massive fine or something. But then you have the corporate media. If you look at the Reuters article, it doesn't have the sinister intonation. Then go look at the New York Times article. You shouldn't actually look at it because you're just giving them clicks. Don't do that. Yeah, I mean, if you want to investigate it for yourself, you can go ahead. Use like an archive page. I'm sure you can find one on it. With the New York Times, they're like, oh, Trump is purging all of these Obama-era officials, solidifying power under his fascist grasp. They make it very, very sinister. They make it sound for their readership, their declining readership, as though it's unprecedented and this is a wide-scale and highly significant purge of highly significant individuals at a highly significant time, and Trump could only be doing it for malevolent intent. There's no possibility that he's just speeding up a process that every administration goes through inevitably anyway, which is replacing acting attorneys with acting attorneys that they happen to want to appoint, because the outgoing admin, it's gone, it's outgoing. It's no longer in power. The people they put into power have potentially totally different political views, totally different interpretations of the Constitution or legality, totally different ideas on what constitutes discretion in prosecuting or not prosecuting cases, and Trump wants someone who reflects his views of the law and the views of those of Jeff Sessions in specific as well, to act on his behalf within the Department of Justice. And it's totally normal. I mean, it was going to happen anyway. It's just he decided to let him go once. But then apparently nobody remembered, oh yeah, Preet Bharara is one of these people, and he's still on this extremely important case. He in specific should probably be able to continue doing what he's doing. So it looks like the last man standing, and probably someone who will be there for a few more years to come, is Preet Bharara. He's the big winner in this situation. Nobody's speaking ill of him. I think even the left doesn't really want to get on his nerves too much. They're afraid that he'll like retaliate against him or something. They're terrified of this dude. De Blasio, when he heard that Preet Bharara was brought on the case, probably started pissing his pants. It probably scares him that much. There's not much you can do to stonewall such a legal juggernaut, so to speak. So it's amusing to watch. I'm highly caffeinated, so I'm feeling pretty good today. But yeah, they're forcing out the prosecutors, but I mean, they also forced out, I can't remember her name, the acting, which department was it within? They just forced them out, got their resignation for the DOJ, I think it was. Was it no, it wasn't Loretta Lynch. It was some other interim individual from the Obama era, I think within the same department. They forced her out. And then Sessions has recused himself from the Trump-Russia bullcrap. So then an Obama-era appointee is actually overseeing that. So now they have to clean that up. It is true at this point that the transition from the Obama camp to the Trump camp has been messy. We need to start admitting that this has been a more messy transition than we're used to. But the reason for that is different. The corporate media tells you, and the establishment political elite tells you, that it's because Trump is dumb, he has no political experience, he's dragging his heels, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's in over his head. I don't think it's that. I think that it's honestly, he has vastly different opinions from both Republican and Democratic administrations from the recent past. When Bush left and Obama came in, it was easy to make the transition. Because Bush and Obama are the same thing. They believe in the same things. They hire the same sorts of people. Nothing changed. Nothing changed under Obama that wasn't already going on under W. It's the fucking same thing. But now we have somebody who is of a different political persuasion. It's only a half step removed from neoconservatism, but it is removed from it. The corporate media looks at that. They see the presence of any change at all as a step towards fascism. Well, they're wrong. It's a step away from it. It's a step away from globalism and multinationalism and all the bad things in life. It's actually a good direction for the country. You can say what you want about his individual policies. I don't support them all either, but it's better than what we've had for quite some time. It's at least a step back into the quasi-neoconservatism of the Reaganite movement. It's probably a little bit beyond that, which is additionally very good. Reagan was a figurehead. Tolerable, but ultimately a figurehead. Trump, we'll wait and see. But these people, the Obamas and the Bushes alike, nobody wants to understand why this is not particularly mysterious to those who still have brain cells operating in their head, because they're the same thing. There's a hint for you. People who like that sort of crap, the Bush and Obama stuff, the Bill Clinton, Herbert Walker stuff, they think we're under a fascist regime right now. Some of them don't actually believe it. They're just doing it for clickbait. The fake news of the New York Times or the Atlantic or MSNBC, they're doing it for clickbait. And honestly, Trump's proponents often clickbait too. It's not limited just to the left or just to establishment media. Let's be a little bit more honest than that. Then at the same time, depending, if you ask people on the far right, maybe from the fringe of Breitbart, then Trump is a total liberal sellout at this point, and they're not willing to give him a chance either. Nobody's willing to give him a chance. Why don't you just step back and let him organize his government and start implementing a few more of his plans before you judge him too harshly? He's only been in there for a very short time. I seem to remember that the same firm's currently dragging Trump over the coals, because not everything that he wanted to do is accomplished, not every problem has been solved. Gave Obama several years before they allowed even the slightest criticism of his policies. Oh, well, Bush fucked us up so bad that it's going to take him years to make things better. Oh, not the jobs haven't come back? Oh, well, it's only 2 years into his first term. Give him more time. Oh, he hasn't closed Gitmo? I'm sure there's a legit reason for it. said the New York Times and the Atlantic and Rachel Maddow and all these other eggheads on TV and on radio and in newsprint. But these same people, they expect Trump within the first week he was there to immediately solve every problem and to undergo every transformation that he wanted. As though the fact that he's Donald Trump means that he should magically have accomplished it all by now. It's not the way government works. If you assume Trump's absolute benevolence, it'll still take him years to accomplish half of what he wants to do. Why? Because government is strangulated. That's the point. One thing that I can give him big credit for is that he's right now essentially not making use of a lot of federal agencies. Not filling their roles, not giving them instructions, letting them sort of peter off and die by the sidelines. Good. Maybe it's a move in order to eventually justify cutting them all together. Good. We'll save so much money. Get those people back into the private workforce. Stimulate the economy on both ends. Be a great thing for the United States. Why don't you just choose... Why don't you put the names of all the bureaus and sub-bureaus on a dartboard? Start throwing some darts. Throw a dozen of them or something. And just axe the bureaus that you land on. Why don't you do that? I bet your day-to-day life wouldn't be affected. Remember the government shutdown that we had under Obama? Actually, 2 shutdowns, but remember that? Remember how a lot of these agencies, they weren't fully functioning? Some of them were basically shuttered altogether. Did it affect your life? Didn't affect mine. I noticed no difference at all. Other than for a few blessed days, we were saving a hell of a lot of money. That's what I noticed. Non-essential workers. Why don't we cut them if they're non-essential? We should only have essential government workers. Everything else, anything outside of being essential for the functions of our state should be privatized. And I don't mean, directly co-opted by government and kind of sort of privatized but under a monopoly. No, I mean completely privatized. Let competition take hold. You know how much money we'd save? How many jobs we'd create? We'd be rolling in the dough. Things would be so much better if we just did that. You don't need to privatize everything, but you sure need to privatize all the non-essential jobs. Yeah, what? 500,000 federal workers that could be in the private workforce instead for profit? Eventually they might even make more money because it'd be more profitable with competition. That's a great thing. So no, Trump has only been there for a short time. People are acting like, oh, he's failed because he hasn't built the wall yet. He's failed because he hasn't done X, Y, and Z. My goodness, you gave Obama several years. You gave Bush several years. After 9/11, when we decided to haul off and go randomly attack other countries, he started mumbling about Iraq fairly early. But nobody said, oh, well, it's just such a shame that we haven't slaughtered a bunch of Iraqis yet. And that's for something that wasn't even sensible. That's for something that was fucking retarded. With Trump, he's got some ideas that are very good, but it's going to take time to implement them. He hasn't even fully formed his government yet. Some of those roles he may never fill. He may just axe the agencies. Well, it doesn't have a head. Our republic is doing fine without this agency doing anything. Why the fuck do we have the agency, he'll argue. And then he'll just fucking cut him. Good, I hope he does. But remember, shrinking the size of government, actually being more permissive and removing government institutions, that's fascism too, says the New York Times. Okay, that's what they say these days. That's about all. Peace out.